Let's take a look at a few characteristics of getStaticProps. We now know how to implement getStaticProps. It's essentially by exporting a function from the pages file. Now, what are some of the characteristics of it? Now, getStaticProps only runs at build time. Now, in order to pre-render our content, that is homepage, what we want is that homepage gets pre-rendered, that is, all the content gets pre-downloaded. So all the users that access our homepage are going to essentially get a cached version. So let's take a look at that. Now, we have seen this diagram before, right? Now, when we push our project, when we push code, application build starts via next build. Once the build is complete, files are generated. Now, this is where, when the application build starts, is when getStaticProps is going to run. It's going to download our homepage and generate all the files necessary for it to pre-render. Now, all those generated files are then going to get uploaded to a CDN. So any user that will access our homepage in the future are going to now get the cached version. So it will be really, really fast. The other thing is getStaticProps only runs on server side and it won't be included in the client side bundle. And these 2 points work hand in hand. Let's take a look at an example. Now, this is an app that Vercel has provided, wherein it will give you an idea that when you do add your page file or any file that you use to write Next.js code, it will tell you what exactly will be included in your client-side code. And when we say client-side code, is essentially what will be invoked in the network. So opening up DevTools, if you go to network and refresh this page, all this code that is getting downloaded right here is client-side code. So going back to our example, let's go ahead and copy our homepage right here. And let's see what will get updated in the client-side code. Now, let's copy this file. This is the homepage itself. Go to the browser and paste it. And on the right-hand side, you will see that this function getStaticProps is not included in our client-side bundle. What does that mean? That means that getStaticProps is essentially getting called on the server. It is not called on the client side. And because of that, we can run whatever server-side code that we want in getStaticProps, and we can rest assured that it will be secure because none of the user can access the code and look at the code. That is, they won't be able to inspect element any of this code, like how we see all the content in the Elements tab or in the Sources tab right here. I'm going to click Pretty Print so that we can see a bit more clearly. The next thing is on dev, getStaticProps runs on client and server side. So let's throw in a console log in getStaticProps and see it in action. Now, I'm just going to say console log getStaticProps, or we can just say hi getStaticProps. Just add a little bit of personal touch. Now, let's clear our terminal and go to the browser. Go to the browser console and let's also clear this. Now let's refresh the page. You can see that props got printed, but these are the client-side props, right? These are essentially client-side. This is the server-side stuff. So let's take a look at our terminal. Now, if we take a look at our terminal, you will notice that hi get static props got printed. So on a development server, which is what we are using right now, because remember, we used NextDev that starts the development server, get static prop is essentially going to run every single time. Now, one more thing to note here is anything inside this function, that is the home page itself, for example, when we console log props, is client-side code, as we saw. But anything here is server-side. And that is the power of Next.js, that you are essentially writing client-side and server-side within the same page file. But because of the really smart build system and the data fetching mechanism, none of this code is going to get included. So we can write our database queries if we want over here. We can write all sort of server-side stuff in this function. And we will later in the course. I'm really excited for that. But for now, I hope this gives you a really good understanding of get static props and how it works. This is all the documentation of get static props, and it's capable for doing a lot more. So we will keep looking at different properties that get static props provides us as we build the app further. But for now, I'll see you in the next one.